Today I'm going to be doing two projects using the mosaic iron-on from Cricut. So we did a video the other day, I'll have it linked down below, showing you how to use this. It's technically like rhinestones with the new mosaic circles, which looks like rhinestones. So it's really exciting because I know a lot of us has been waiting for Cricut to come out with some rhinestones. So here is your solution, and this stuff is amazing. So we're going to be using some of this today. I have out this one here because I wanted to point out that you could have used, you could use this color here for a pumpkin if you're wanting to do a design with this stuff for the fall or Halloween. This will make a great pumpkin as well, this color right here. I'll have this link down below. You could get it by itself in this color, or you could get it in the sampler Cherry Fizz. But today we're going to be using that silver and red because I'm going to be doing a like a vampire mouth. So we're going to do the red and the silver, and then I'm going to try to trim that in regular black iron-on. And if it doesn't look right, then I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to cut it out here in a second. And then we're also going to be using the new squares from Cricut. So this is their mosaic in squares. I'll be using the metallic iron-on mosaic, and then I'm going to be using the everyday iron-on. So I'm going to be using the gold one from this package, and then I'm going to be using the plain black from this package. This has a black, but it's a metallic black, and I want a plain one, if that makes sense, an everyday. So we're going to use these two. One, the black's going to say pumpkin, and then we're going to do a pumpkin with this gold and just see how it turns out. So I wanted to test this out, but I wanted to play with this again, trying to create a mouth just to kind of see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and get started. Both designs weeded out, ready to go. We're ready to do our iron-on. So here is the vampire teeth and mouth. Is that not cute? So does that not look like rhinestones? I absolutely love it. If you noticed, whenever I was weeding out, I had to cut off the teeth here and out of here on the red rhinestones. I'm going to have that cleaned up for you whenever you go to use this file. You're not going to have to worry about any of that. It's already going to be cleaned up and ready to go. So you'll just be doing your layering process. But I love the way that this came out. Way too cool. And that's not even just a regular, that's like some heavy metal stuff, you know, your sons may be into. I mean, cute, right? All right. And then for this one, I use the mosaic gold squares for the pumpkin. And then for the word pumpkin, I use the everyday squares. That'd be really cute to do like a black and white plaid effect. So I'm going to be trying that on a pillow very soon because I'm thinking plaid that we could be using with this to create a plaid, if that makes sense. I know my light's hitting it, but you guys will see it better here in a second. All right. The t-shirt that I'm using today is the Gildan Dry Blend. This is 50/50. I love these. This one is in white. I will have it linked down below where I love to purchase my shirts. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's do the vampire mouth first, and then we'll get the pumpkin. Now I want to go ahead and point out really quick, I showed you guys the other day the trick that I've been using with Cricut 3x18 ruler, where I set it right here at the neckline, brings it down 3 inches, make sure your shirt's flat, and then all you're going to do is use these lines to get that even, and it just works out so well. 9 is going to be the middle. You would lay it on here, do your thing, what you're going to see me do, right? I'll have it linked down below if you guys haven't seen that, or I'll have it posted up here somewhere. Now, somebody mentioned to me the other day, well, what do you do if it's like a 2X, 3X, or a bigger shirt? It's not really about this, it's more about the length. Well, Cricut does have a 6x26, and so it has the same lines and everything like that, but it's longer. And now it's got the 6, but don't worry about it. This is what you're going to do. Instead of laying it right here, all you need to do is lay it at the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to line it up at the top of the t-shirt this time. So you're going to take this one, and it's going to line right up here at the very top. And then you're going to still be, so if you notice my neckline, hopefully you guys can barely see that. Here's where we're down, exactly 3 fingers, so it still works. But now you have that length. And once again, I know my center here is going to be 13 because half of 26, so 13 is my middle. So I'm just knowing that's the middle. And all I'm going to do is line this up, which works perfect. I just need to line these little lines up. I'm just paying attention to these lines here. And you're ready to go. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to layer this on. And let me go ahead and get our first layer here really fast. Set these aside. My dogs are playing really rough outside today. All right, so one thing you want to do really quick before you get started is go ahead and pull out any moisture. And I'm going to do that really quick. I'm going to pop that up there and just do that before I forget, because that's something I forget all the time. And you really should pull out that moisture. So I'm going to do that really quick. Put that back up here. Scoot this back down. I'm trying to do this without getting this underneath my iron. All right, so scoot that over. All right, so say I was happy with that. Once again, that gives me that, having that right there, that gives me the 3 fingers down. So I'm going to go ahead and get this. Now, what you need to do is fold this in half, not by the paper, but by the design. So you're just going to fold that in half, get a crease mark. We're at that 13 mark, so I'm going to line this crease mark up with the 13. And get that down just like that. All right, that's ready to go. So you see how that still works, and you could use it with any size shirt. So if you want to just purchase the one ruler, the 6x26, so that way it goes from small all the way up to, you know, several X's up there. You can use this one, but just start it up here at this top part. And then if you're going to be getting this one, you would want to start it at the neckline. Okay, so you do still have 2 options. You could just purchase the one, or you could have both. Super affordable. Like I said, I'll have them linked down below. So let's go ahead and get this first one down. I'm going to go ahead and hit go, 330 for 30 seconds. We just need light pressure. All right, looks good. Now this is a warm pill, so you want to let it cool down just a little bit before you pill it. All right, first layer done. Now, what I'm going to do, and I like to save these because you can use these as a Teflon sheet to go over the top of this as you're layering, if that makes sense. Always save your biggest sheet for working over and over with this. Just with the one design, and then I toss it. Okay, so now we're going to layer our next one, which is going to be the lips. So I'm going to do that. And everything I'm doing is 330 for 30 seconds, so I think the regular iron-on's supposed to be like 315, but because everything else is 330, I'm not too worried about it. It's going to have the heat on it. So, all right, just trying to make sure I've got that lined up really good, just as best as possible. All right, and go. So 330 for 30 seconds. All right, so I think we're ready to go. Pull off that top piece of plastic first and go ahead and get this. So you want to hold it down at an angle and pull. Now I want to point out, because I messed up in the video from Wednesday when you pull this plastic off, because we didn't weed this out earlier, there's still another piece on here. So you may think you're done. So if you notice, it looks like, so it's not individual dots, it looks like a solid sheet. You still have some on here. So some of that plastic carrier sheet. So all you need to do is find you a spot that you can start, because remember, it's going to be cut to the exact design. And you want to just kind of peel that off. Just like so. So now you can notice the difference. I'm going to show you that really quick before we keep going. So on the top part, hopefully you guys can tell, it's individual. And then you can see down here, it's still got the plastic. Maybe that glitter's hitting it. All right. So just pay attention to that, that you don't mess up on there. All right. So go ahead and peel that off. Now, you could leave it like this. That's how it's like originally designed. It was just actually these lips, and then the white background. So you could actually leave it like that. That still looks really, really cool. Or you could keep adding more bling. All right, see, that looks good to me. I'm going to add the extra piece of carrier sheet. And then I'm going to do 330 for 30 seconds. All right. So I'm going to let this cool down, and then we'll pull off that last piece, and we're done with this. I'm going to go ahead and peel off that first layer of the carrier sheet, and go ahead and get this piece off. All right. There we go. So this one is done. So hopefully you guys can really see how cool that looks. It's kind of hard because of the lighting. It wants to kind of really glare off it. So I'm going to try to get it like this a little bit, so you guys can see. But how cool is that? I absolutely love the way that came out. I always say absolutely love. All right, so I love the way that this one came out. So let's go ahead and do the next one. It's going to be the same thing, that 330 for 30 seconds. And I should be able to do this all at one time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull out the heat. And I'm going to do it in this direction because that's the way we're going to have our iron. Pull out that moisture. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and use the small ruler just so it's not bumping into my iron over there. All right, so I like to use the matte side so I don't glare. And I'm going to go ahead and get this right there. Looks like the center. So here we go. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go ahead and start with the pumpkin. And once again, I'm going to fold it in half so that way I can get my center mark. So I'm going to go ahead and get that lined up. And remember, I want to get this bumped all the way to the top of this. Don't bring it to the plastic or you're going to come down even further, if that makes sense. All right. So say that looks good. I guess I better leave that there. All right, say that looks good. So the next piece is my pumpkin. So what I'm going to do, I know that my center is right there. So I'm going to fold this little thing in half here as well. Get a crease mark. And then I can just come straight down from that 9 and know I'm about where I need to be. So I'm going to kind of come right about there. All right, so say I'm happy with that. That looks good. Move my ruler. And we're going to get this with one shot. So I'm going to get this down and hit go. All right. Move that out of the way. We're going to wait for it to get warm. Just going to go ahead and fan it a little bit. All right, so I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the metallic and get that peeled up. And you can already see where I made a rookie mistake. And I ironed the top part of the pumpkin on this plastic. So what I'm actually going to do to fix this, since we have these scrap pieces, and like I said in my other video, if you've seen it, you're going to be able to save these because it's almost like double carrier sheet, so it still has a carrier sheet on it, and it's completely fine. So you're going to be able to save your scraps like this. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try to line this back up with a square. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one square here, the whole square, if that makes sense, and I'm going to line it up on top of another square so that way it's exactly perfect. So I'm just going to kind of lay that on there just like so. All right. So I'm going to come through here. I can snip right through. All right, just like that. That way I don't even have to like put it back through my machine. And I'm gonna run through here. So that's gonna be really cool with these squares. It's gonna be pretty easy to fix. And like I mentioned, I put it in the text on my other video, is if you mess up and say a square pulled up, you could literally just take a scrap square, put it down, and put your iron back down and get it fixed. You could do the same thing with a circle. All right, so now that I have that, I'm gonna pull off this top layer. And there we go. We're gonna be able to fix that just like so. So I'm gonna line this back up. There we go. In this situation, it is best to grab that same carrier sheet that the pumpkin was using, so that way you don't have to try to find something to fit that, or just cover it with a Teflon sheet. All right, so I'm gonna get this on here and hit go. Now it's down to 300. I had dropped my temp already, but I'm okay. What I do, instead of doing 30 seconds, I'm gonna hit go and let it go for another 10 seconds since it wasn't at the 330. I'll actually do maybe 5 more seconds. All right, hit go, let it go 5 more seconds. There we go. Since I had already shut it down. Now, you wouldn't need to do that if you didn't shut yours down. All right, so once again, I need to let it cool down, and then I'll peel that off. So I was luckily able to save that, so hopefully maybe that'll help somebody that's working with the mosaic. So when it comes to the mosaic, whether it's the circles or the squares, it's going to be a super easy fix. So compared to if we ever accidentally cut an L off or something like that, you could literally restack those. You've seen how I put the one back on the other one. So you're going to be able to fix mistakes like that. But luckily, it was easy to fix, and you can't even tell. So I'm going to peel off this plastic here. I figure I'll bring this up so you guys can see how cool this metallic mosaic is. It's really, really pretty, but those squares are just way too cool. The pumpkin, and then you have the cute little vampire teeth. Is that not super cute? So definitely check out the circles and the squares. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.